Hello, hello, hello.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's go. I don't mean no rain on your parade, but if I didn't win, it's a shame what they would say. Why should I pretend and then claim that I'm insane? You know I'm cocky, remain to be the same. Ballerific, I'm all terrific. Wanna know what I'ma do? I'll be more specific. Like let's have a face off. I rip your face off. Treat it like my rhyme book when I rip the page off. I got a swagger that's ahead of my time, and you got a swagger that is dead and behind. Where I'm beginning, you are slacking, and where I am winning, you are lacking. I do it to perfection with laughter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. Your perception, it doesn't really matter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. And I'll get anything that I'm after. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. But if you in my face, homie, back up. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's go. I don't mean no rain on your parade, but if I didn't win, it's a shame what they would say. Why should I pretend and then claim that I'm insane? You know I'm cocky, remain to be the same. Ballerific, I'm all terrific. Wanna know what I'ma do? I'll be more specific. Like let's have a face off. I rip your face off. Treat it like my rhyme book when I rip the page off. I got a swagger that's ahead of my time, and you got a swagger that is dead and behind. Where I'm beginning, you are slacking, and where I am winning, you are lacking. I do it to perfection with laughter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. Your perception, it doesn't really matter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. And I'll get anything that I'm after. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. But if you in my face, homie, back up. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's go. I don't mean no rain on your parade, but if I didn't win, it's a shame what they would say. Why should I pretend and then claim that I'm insane? You know I'm cocky, remain to be the same. Ballerific, I'm all terrific. Wanna know what I'ma do? I'll be more specific. Like let's have a face off. I rip your face off. Treat it like my rhyme book when I rip the page off. I got a swagger that's ahead of my time, and you got a swagger that is dead and behind. Where I'm beginning, you are slacking, and where I am winning, you are lacking. I do it to perfection with laughter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. Your perception, it doesn't really matter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. And I'll get anything that I'm after. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. But if you in my face, homie, back up. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger.
Hello, guys. I just want to know, can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, can I get purple hearts in the chat? If you can hear me, can I get purple hearts in the chat? I can't tell if y'all can hear me. Okay. Okay, I got some purple hearts. I'm gonna play the intro again while we wait for some more people to get in. Sorry that I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first time going live in like forever.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's go. I don't mean no rain on your parade, but if I didn't win, it's a shame what they would say. Why should I pretend and then claim that I'm insane? You know I'm cocky, remain to be the same. Ballerific, I'm all terrific. Wanna know what I'ma do? I'll be more specific. Like let's have a face off. I rip your face off. Treat it like my rhyme book when I rip the page off. I got a swagger that's ahead of my time, and you got a swagger that is dead and behind. Where I'm beginning, you are slacking, and where I am winning, you are lacking. I do it to perfection with laughter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. Your perception, me back up. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger.
Hello, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. This is my first time going live in like forever, so I apologize in advance if things go left. But I'm really excited to be here, and I cannot wait to get everything started. I'm so happy that I already see a lot of purple hearts in the chat. I see a lot of you guys have already started tuning in, so thanks for being here.
Yeah! Let's go. I don't mean no rain on your parade, but if I didn't win, it's a shame what they would say. Why should I pretend and then claim that I'm insane? You know I'm cocky, remain to be the same. Ballerific, I'm all terrific. Wanna know what I'ma do? I'll be more specific. Like let's have a face off. I rip your face off. Treat it like my rhyme book when I rip the page off. I got a swagger that's ahead of my time, and you got a swagger that is dead and behind. Where I'm beginning, you are slacking, and where I am winning, you are lacking. I do it to perfection with laughter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. Your perception, it doesn't really matter. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. And I'll get anything that I'm after. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger. But if you in my face, hold me back up. You call it attitude, but I call it swagger.
Lord, it wasn't supposed to be like this, I swear.
I will be your shield in the fiercest battle. I'll defend you from all these arrows, and the sword I will keep you from danger. Let me be your shield.
That's right, y'all. We are gathered here today to remember the great Shamea Morton, who we've been fighting to get Bravo to allow her to keep her Real Housewives of Atlanta peach for the last several weeks.
Did I miss something?
I don't know, child.
While this news does not come as much of a surprise, we still give fans the right to mourn such a great loss. Because that means, unfortunately, this is the first time in the Real Housewives of Atlanta history that a housewife has allegedly gotten the boot mid-season, and honestly, I hate that for Kenya. So at this time, we are asking for the congregation to keep Team Twirl in your thoughts and prayers as we navigate this difficult time together.
I will take your place. I'll be your shield.
Honestly, y'all, I am still in total shock. This is one of those stories where you could see the pieces of the puzzle coming together, and for a lot of us, Team Twirl-ish, we've been really in denial. So it's just crazy that I feel like we have enough information now to know that something definitely is going on, and it's just really unfortunate. Thank you guys for being here. Please bear with me. I am nervous. This is my first live. I've been wanting to go live for a while now, and I didn't really know. Can you guys hear me? I didn't really know exactly like what I would go live for, or like what I wanted my first video to be, but I literally was about to go to dinner and I had to stop and make this video, and it would have either been get the video like tomorrow afternoon, or I could just go live, so why not? Okay, you guys say you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you. All right, so let's get right into the tea. I know that TMZ was definitely the first to break the story. Let me get my stuff together. Hold on, y'all. Wait, no. Okay, so TMZ was first to break the story in, okay, here it is. TMZ was first to break the story about Kenya Moore allegedly being fired from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Or, I mean, nobody really wants to say that she was fired, but right now it's hard to know whether she was fired, whether she stepped away for the show. I feel like we can read between the lines and we can know, like, more than likely our good sis was fired. Let me see what the comments are saying. Do y'all feel like Kenya was fired? Do y'all feel like she stepped away because she feels like Bravo wasn't protecting her? Somebody said they may as well cancel the show. I don't know about all that. Thank you. Love the yellow on me. Thank you. Bravo's on some BS. This is not fair at all. Is the beer for me? This season's going to be a snooze. I don't know. It's really weird because I know I joked about it in the intro, but isn't this the first time somebody got fired like in the middle of the season? Like, is that what we doing now? Oh, thanks for the super chat. Love you as much as I love Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thank you so much for that. A dollar make me holla. This season, somebody said they are sure that she walked. Is this the first housewife who walked away from the show in the middle of the season? I know they've brought people on mid-season, but I don't know about anybody walking away mid-season. Thank you, Aaron. Why is nobody holding production accountable? Child, we're gonna have to get into that. I don't know. It's a lot going on, and it's really too early to know exactly. Thank you, Michelle, for the $20 super chat. Okay, so TMZ officially is reporting that Kenya Moore is officially putting down her peach for the next season at least, because she ain't coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they warned that things could possibly turn ugly. Their sources are telling them that Kenya will not be returning to the production of season 16 right after she was basically put on an indefinite hiatus, which my friend Michelle from Straight from the A was the first to report. And again, y'all, I was one of those people who was in denial. I did not want to believe this. I agreed initially not to talk about this, but I feel like things have gotten a little bit too out of hand for me to not participate. And there are other reports that are saying that Kenya Moore may not have been like, Bravo and Kenya Moore may not have been like in agreement to take a break. They are saying that she is full blown fire. So I guess we'll find out as this story continues to develop. TMZ was saying that both sides kind of agreed to take a break from the show, and they're saying that Bravo was keeping the door open. But again, there are conflicting stories right now, and I feel like we'll probably know a lot more tomorrow about this story. I do want to get into some of Kenya's tweets, because y'all already know that I always kind of wait for the statements, because I feel like the rumors kind of run rampant, and I just always want to make sure I have the most updated and accurate tea. Cordero said, play stupid games and win stupid prizes by week. Not too much on us, Team Twirl. Y'all know we are already having a hard time. It's been a tough couple of weeks for Team Twirl. But yeah, so Kenya Moore tweeted, hashtag Team Twirl forever, saying that you guys are the best fans that anyone could ever ask for. I love you all so very much, always and forever. And I don't know, it was sad seeing Kenya like just straight out come and basically acknowledge this story. I was hoping that she would like get on Instagram or something, but y'all know how she does this. And Kenya also was retweeting and like quote tweeting some really interesting posts. Like this tweet says, I'm very proud of Kenya for stepping away from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. As a fan, it's really tough to see her go, but as a friend, I completely understand. To truly know Kenya is to truly love Kenya, and I hope more people get to see how amazing she is in her future endeavors. And Kenya actually acknowledged this, so I feel like Kenya basically confirmed that this tea is true. And I don't know, are y'all shook about that? Or are y'all surprised that, not rest in peace, Team Twirl, are y'all surprised that she flat out acknowledged this really quickly? Or did y'all expect her to kind of BS like she's been doing? Rachel mentioned that B. Scott, which is her known bestie, he said that she was fired. And when I saw, that I kind of was giving him the side eye, because as a friend, you want to protect your friends. I understand this is a sticky situation, but I don't know if I would have wrote that story if Kenya was my bestie. All right. Let me look at some more tweets before I open up the lines. I don't really have much to say. I kind of really wanted to come on and talk to you guys. So I will go ahead and place the link to the call-in in the chat right now, so that you guys can start calling in and we can chat and I can hear from some of you guys. So this other tweet that Kenya Moore retweeted or quote tweeted says, I've been a fan of Kenya Moore since I was a little girl. We both are from Detroit, and I remember how she was proud, how proud she made the city when she became Miss USA. She's always had a special place in my heart. I will always support her, and I know she will get through this. And yeah, Kenya Moore tweeted that with the sad emoji. She also shared this tweet from a fan who said, "This is so messed up. Mother Kenya is gone. I am so pissed off." Yeah, this is so unfortunate. I see some calls already coming in, so I am going to give some more time for people to be able to call in, and I will be right back.
I'm all kinds of bad when I drop on the beat. Taking down my hair, got your eyes on me. You need it, you want it, but can you handle this? This lollipop is poppin', 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 pop. This lollipop is
All right, we are back, and I am going to take the first call. Hi, Born to Win. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Hello? It says that your mic is muted. Sorry, y'all. We're figuring this out for the first time. Hello? By default, guys, the mics are muted. Can you unmute your mic? Somebody said y'all can't be on Bingeworthy with the tour of internet. Look how professional his stuff is. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Hello? Oh, hello?
Wait, am
Wait,
I
am I
on?
on?
Yes. Hi, Rima. How are you?
I'm
I'm
good. How
good.
are
How are
you?
you?
I'm well. Are you team Twirl or are you team everybody?
I am not Team 12, but I will say since about season 10-ish, I've grown a little softer on Kenya, so I'm not as bad on her as I was when she first got there. But what I really wanted to come and talk about is when Nene made a point to say that Bravo is really trying to get rid of the black shows.
Ooh.
Because how can you have a reboot? And like I'm gonna be keeping a buck. I think Kenya is a factor, but it's not as big as a factor as people trying to make it seem. But she is needed. How are you gonna bring back Portia? Bring back Cynthia? Bring back Drew? But you don't bring back Kenya. You need Kenya because Kenya is gonna go get it done when nobody else will. No one's willing to get down and dirty like that in order to make the show what it is, except for Kenya. Like, not even Portia. No one else will. So it's like, how is a reboot gonna work without Kenya? And I promise you, I'm not Team 12, but this just doesn't make any sense. So to me, this is just a way to basically end Real Housewives as we know it.
I don't know. I don't know. I understand that everybody doesn't love Kenya, but the fact that they had already started telling her story and have decided to make this drastic of a move, like that doesn't bother you. Like, what are they gonna do? Just act like she never was there? Like, how does that look? That's what I worry about.
Now Bravo has to be careful because I think the whole thing they're trying to say that it's a moral clause now because the people over there in New Jersey got suspended, so she's getting suspended and blah blah blah. But to edit her completely out, I feel like the fan outrage or backlash will be just be too great. But if you see her for 4 episodes and don't see her again, that's gonna be crazy too. So I really don't even know how Bravo even think that this is fixable. Like it's really giving y'all go home and let's try again, like in 2 more months or something. Because how is this gonna work? And I feel like Cynthia in particular came back as a friend to be like that person on the other side of Kenya because of all the stuff with the girls trip and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
their, friendship in general.
I felt like they had to bring Kenya back, or I'm sorry, they had to bring Cynthia back because otherwise it didn't really make much sense to keep Kenya with these much like I feel like the new girls. How do I say this? um, I feel like Kenya was a little bit out of place for me. I'm just gonna be honest. I feel
Yeah,
like they
same.
needed to bring Cynthia back to really just make Kenya fit. So I'm really kind of
So
confused
she can
about
have a
whether
friend. So
right
she can have a
because
friend. So what is
she
Cynthia's
clearly has
purpose
no
now?
intention of being cordial with these new girls, or I feel like she's always going to give them a hard time. So
I
yeah.
mean, that's her role. That's her role. Even like if we thinking about Kenya since the inception, since she's been there, honestly, that was Kenya's game to begin with. We and like I said, I'm not Team Twirl like that, but honestly, the reason why I wasn't really fooling with Kenya like that because this has always been a game to Kenya. This is a show. I'm coming here to collect my check so I can go home. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you got Candy Mama doing whatever. You got Apollo over here doing fraud on TV, finna go jail the next. Everybody else was dealing like with some real stuff. Kenya just came here to play, and she has been there to play from day one. No one else had that factor. I'm gonna give her that. Outside of possibly Nene, no one else has had that factor about them that I'm coming to play.
Yeah,
Period.
I was
So
looking forward to what she and Portia would do this season. Um, but yeah,
I was
it's unfortunate.
I oh my god, I want to scream. I know somebody else probably
Am
ain't
I
talking,
still on
but
mute?
the whole
I can't
Portia and
tell. Am I
Kenya
on mute?
thing.
Oh no, hold on one second. You're not on mute. I can hear you.
Okay, I'm trying not to be on camera because I'm not dressed, but I do want to talk. I feel like when I turn my camera off, my
When you turn your camera off, will it let you still be unmuted? Because we looking at this little bed sheet right now.
I know these are pampered by Portia. These are pampered
Oh,
by
okay.
Portia sheets. Okay,
No, no self promotion.
so
I'm
y'all
fine.
might just have to. I know, right? I didn't mean to interrupt the lady. I was trying to test out the audio. But I was just going to say that I have always respected Kenya. I'm a person who really um, empathizes with people who have a lot of childhood trauma. And so I
Hmm.
could always see Kenya's brokenness in within her beauty, and I've always respected the way that she loves and cares for herself and how she's just been so resilient. Like, it's so much to love and admire about Kenya, but I've also believed that Kenya has a lot of deep wounds to heal and a lot of shadow work to do, like most of us do. And it was only going to be a matter of time. I mean, her divorce, I'm sure, started some of that work that she needs to do, but there's obviously a lot more work to be done. And I think that this sweeping the rug up under her, her crown being tilted in this way, and the way that it was done, she did it to herself. And it was complete self sabotage. No one did this to Kenya, regardless of our opinion about it. Even
So let
those
me
that love
let me
her. Oh, yeah, go
let me
ahead.
ask you. So you mentioned that you are not a Kenya fan.
No, I am. I'm not really a fan of people, but I
Hmm.
admire her. Like I would I love way more about her than I just can also recognize her flaws just like I do myself and any other person I love, right? So, no, I do love Kenya, but I think that this was going to happen at some point because you know, there's just this thing in this world called karma. And I hate to be cliche, but when your intentions are not pure and when you're operating in a dark place, it's gonna come back to bite you. And I feel like she did this to herself. And for it to have happened at her baby, meaning her business, and something that I'm sure she put her blood, sweat, and tears into, it's gonna force her into some very intense work that she needs to do to heal those wounds that she's been holding on to for a long time. So, in a way, she doesn't know it yet. It feels like her life is over, but this is the biggest blessing that could ever happen to her. And I honestly believe that if she gets the help and the support that she needs and truly learn how to love herself the way that she appears on the outside, I think her future is going to be brighter even her current life is, which is very bright. So I know that was a lot to share, but I mean, I just think this situation is I think it's an opportunity for her to do some intense healing and work.
But she gonna need that check though. Is That's probably what she's focused on the
Oh,
most,
I
especially since
agree.
she
I
wanted
agree.
to really capitalize off this salon. So thank you for coming on and sharing that. I know that it sounds like you have good intentions and you really want Kenya to learn from this situation. So thanks for coming on to
I do.
this.
I love her and I'll support her in whatever she has next. And I think she'll be back on, if not Housewives of Atlanta, something even greater. I mean, I don't think this is the absolute end for her. I hope it's not.
Right. Okay, well, thanks for calling in. I'm going to take some more calls.
Okay,
I'll see
thank
you back in the
you.
chat.
All right, bye.
Bye. I see we have two more people here. Born to Win. It shows that your mic is muted. And also Andrea.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Okay, so I'm good. How are you, Bingeworthy? Oh my God, I love you.
Like, I
Oh
love you a
wow,
lot.
thank you,
So
thank you.
I was really just calling in to say that for me, the narrative with um like Kenya doing what she did, I didn't want to believe it. I'm Team Swirl. I am.
Right.
Um, however, if Kenya did take it that far, then I do think that there should have been a suspension. However, I don't think that you get that type of um how do you say it? Like, you get that type of attention wrapped around this show that we all come to love since season one,
Hmm.
and then take it and not use it, suspend her, and then she comes back. But Kenya has not always been a favorite of Bravo, especially when she didn't show her pregnancy, her marriage. They kind of really punished Kenya in a way that they didn't do a lot of the women. So for me, yes, if the video was already out there, or the clip or whatever, we didn't get to see, right? We just got to hear kind of what was happening. If it was already out there, to me, I feel like no, Kenya shouldn't repost or do anything like that. Do it in a setting with just the girls or the ladies, because we know we get a lot of leaks nowadays. And we've
Yeah.
always gotten leaks. But this is more of when you leak stuff and you do things like this, you gotta, this repercussions. I really
Let me
think that
ask
with
you.
Candy being gone,
Let me
that
ask you a question.
Kenya,
1 second. So you mentioned that you're a team twirl, and you are speaking about the video and all of these things that we don't know for sure what happened. So my question is, do you feel like, as a Kenya fan and as a fan of the show, do you feel like we want stuff like revenge videos coming out? Do you feel like that would have added to the show? If, say, Bravo was okay with it, do you feel like that, as Team Toro, you would have been like, yes, show us those videos?
no, 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 because when it would have came out like live, as we were watching it, I've been like, oh, that's too low,
Yeah,
because now
that's,
you're pulling the Marlo,
yeah, that was
you're
my
pulling the
issue.
Marlo, the antics.
That was my issue. I don't want Kenya to be in trouble. I never wanted her to be in trouble. But I was really confused as to who gave her this idea and who was going to tell her the truth and let her know that, to me, this is not an issue of Bravo really firing her. Is it an issue of where she really let down a lot of fans? And I feel like she really disappointed really her fan base by doing this. So I'm glad that you said that is not something you were standing behind. And I really want Kenya to take that away. Like,
And I do also believe that, here's the thing, you can have your antics and your fun and fun light shade, but I feel like these housewives, and it doesn't, I am who I am through and through. I am a black woman, okay? I support, believe in black businesses, believe in black women. I don't care what color you are. When this starts to interfere personally with your job and nobody wants to film, now we got franchises that's not even going to have what do you call that, a reunion. That's when it gets in the way of what we came to watch. We come here for the drama and the mess, but if I really want to see stuff like that, I can go to Zeus.
and yeah, I was gonna say Love and Hip Hop, but honestly, that is definitely more of a Zeus storyline.
Yeah,
Well,
that
what's
is a lot, because them girls over there will really like scrap about something like that. But I get what you say when you say love and hip hop, because it's more in the middle of, it's not as
and they
dirty or
pull
as
those kinds of
low.
stunts. They pull those kind
Yeah,
of stunts, and that I feel is welcome over there. So it's just
it
strange
really
that
is.
Kenya decided to do that. But thank you.
Especially at your own thing. And then my thing is too, I heard, there's rumors everywhere, that her daughter was kind of in the back, and it's like, Is that true or is that not? Are we not going to talk about where
Well,
Brooklyn was because it was her grand opening? And I
well,
don't
yeah,
mean to say her daughter's name because I don't like to talk about people's kids, but I'm just saying, like, that's a lot.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
lot.
I didn't hear that, but thank you for calling. I want to get some more of these calls. There's quite a few people waiting. So thanks for calling
No
in.
problem.
Nice to meet you. Hopefully, I'll see you in the
Nice to
chat.
meet you too.
All right,
Okay.
bye bye. All right, first I'm gonna read some of y'all's comments. Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat. I don't really um, know how to read and do this video at the same time. And then we're gonna take some more calls. So someone said I would love Mariah Hook on the show. Right now we're mourning the loss of Kenya Moore's Peach. We don't got time to be talking about replacements. um, Let me see. Alabama born girl said Kenya must have thought that she was on OWN. Carlos allows Revenge P. Do they do that over there on Oprah's network? What? Um, as a mother, why would she do that to someone? As a woman, right? Like, as a mother, yes, but as a woman, that's just very interesting. Someone says 610 in the chat. No one fed the idea to Kenya. I'm sure she acted alone. She just wanted a moment. Well, she got it. I mean, I feel like there had to be at least one person who she came up with this stuff with, because all I keep thinking about is who went down to the Staples to help print that stuff out with her. And then how did Staples print that? Like, wasn't that against the rules of printing at Staples or wherever she went? Like, let's start there. Kenya, if you're gonna sue anybody, don't sue the bloggers. Don't sue the bloggers. Sue Staples, because they're the ones who allowed you to print that and blow it up and lose your job, girl. Someone said, "What role does production play?" I really want to know. We would love to know. How much production knew. If you guys watched my video when this first popped off, and I talked about how I wasn't allowed to attend this event, now it's like I'm kind of glad I wasn't there, because ever since that situation, it's been crazy out here in these streets. But I felt like production knew, because there was a whole behind the scenes like media lists going on, and Kenya 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 was making sure that a lot of only the people that she really wanted there was there. I'll just say that. So people knew what was going down. All right. I am going to take some more calls. Someone said Bravo printed them. Hola.
Justin, what's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. First off, I love the setup.
Thank you.
You look so cute.
Thank you.
Listen, Kenya, we have to heal. Kenya needs to heal. Um, the only newbie that she hasn't terrorized was Shamari, season 11. And that's because Kenya physically could not get to her. But ever since season 5, she's been terrorizing the newbies, even when she was a newbie. And her name was Porsha Diane D. Williams, now Gabadia.
Did we enjoy
Now
that
Williams.
terrorizing, or like was it ever cute?
No, no, it was never cute. The way she came at Portia was diabolical, like the kids like to say. The way she came for it when Drew came on, how her and Latoya were like low key bullying Drew, how she didn't want Tiffany Rose onto the show, and we saw that on Instagram recently. We see that she's been coming for Brit Eady, the new girl. I'm trying to think, who else did she come for? She's like known to like haze and come after the new girl. So Kim Fields, she tried to like have a physical altercation with Kim Fields. How you gonna fight with Kim Fields? How you gonna fight with a non-confrontational woman? Like,
Yeah.
Kim Fields ain't my favorite person, but like she did not deserve you like getting up and trying to grab her seat and whatnot. So I just kind of felt like she's got to heal, because what is your thing? Like, I don't know if she's threatened, if she's intimidated or what, but she's always had a thing for the new girls, and it's just not cute.
So when you heard the news, because you were one of the first people to send it to me, you and Michelle, what was your first thought? Like, were you relieved that the story was moving along, or is this something you already kind of expected?
I was disappointed because I feel like we need our two anchors. We need our season 5 queens to lead the newbies into the new era of Atlanta. So I was really sad about the situation. Um, but I also kind of felt like, okay, well, what is Team Twirl gonna say about this? Because they've been calling me a hater and they've been calling everybody else a hater that's just talking about the news. So like Team Twirl, like who's hating now? Like your girl did what she did. She deserved discipline for what she did to Brit. And it is it is what it is. So yeah.
Right. I don't know. I Is this the first time that somebody's gotten fired, or are we calling it fired?
Okay, so Kim Zolciak left
Oh,
mid-season. She didn't
she
get
doesn't
fired,
count
but she
though. She
did.
don't count.
And I was saying on my channel today, I was like, I want them to keep all of Kenya's scenes, and I want them to like play it out. Like if she could do confessionals, pay her extra, get her to do confessionals, right? And then act like she's fully a part of the show, and then pull a Kim Zolciak. We're in the middle of the season or 3, 4 episodes in. After that, show cameras going down, show everybody disgusted by the pictures, let everything fade to
But they
black,
weren't though.
and then,
They
huh?
weren't though. They weren't though. They were like supporting her in everything. Like, I feel like the only time people should be able to get suspended, fired, or whatever is if the majority of the girls will not film with them. So if most of the girls, except one or two of the people who are closest to the girl that it happened to, don't want to film, to me it's weird to like go to the extreme to fire someone mid-season when you've already made a press release talking about she's coming back and all of that stuff, and we already know that the show is like in critical condition. This is like so weird to me.
Mm. I think if they show it, it can be a good season. If they completely erase her, I think it still can be a good season if they show what is actually happening. Don't come on to season 16 acting like Kenya was never a part of it. I think that's what's
Ooh.
gonna tank it. If they act
Oh,
like she was never supposed to be a part of the season, I think that's gonna be really lame.
when you say show what's happening, you mean like in what way?
Show the cameras going down. Tell us that she was suspended.
Show
Like
her meeting with Bravo.
show, yeah. Let's see the
That
meetings
would be
and the
hilarious.
emails from NBC Universal. Show us. Like, I hope to God they don't act like, oh, she was never here. Like, cut her out. Because they're known for doing that. Like, they kind of did a similar thing on Real Housewives of New York City where there was supposed to be, like, I think this Jewish lady, and there was, like, a racist scandal. This was, like, the start of the new Roni, like, where they totally rebooted the cast. There was like a racist scandal where I believe this Jewish lady and her husband, the husband of the Jewish lady, called one of the girls like the N word, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken. Something crazy happened. Anyways, it ended up becoming a scandal, a low key scandal. And they fired her or she left the show and totally edited her out. And then they had to like basically kind of act like she was never a part of it. I don't want them to do that. I feel like the
Hopefully.
season can still be great if they keep it like how it was, show her scenes, and then the next episode introduce Phaedra back, and then we're back to business.
Right. Let me read this comment. Someone Parker super chatted, discipline yes, fired no. Bravo promotes this behavior. I feel like Bravo, I don't know if Bravo promotes the behavior. Thanks for the super chat though. I don't know if Bravo promotes this behavior, especially not lately. Colin made a good point. Let me scroll up. He said I think this has more to do with that new clause that Biden signed where there are more legal consequences to the network. You're really into politics. Do you know about that? That
No,
oh,
what and the thought that Biden signed?
right.
Uh.
Okay. Um do you mind if I add someone else to the thing and you stay on?
Yes, yes, I mind. No, it's okay.
Uh
Hi, everyone.
Hi, what's your
You
name?
look like Trina Braxton.
Magic. Magic.
Hi, Magic. Thanks for calling in.
Yes. I have a couple of things that, like I don't think that Kenya should be let go. Um, for several reasons, right? I think she literally is like, I would say number one, past Nene. But one thing I can say is that Nene did warn a lot of them that what happened to her can happen to them. And I don't think they took notice of that. And I feel that what's happening now, if we look back on the other episodes, we can say, and it's obvious, is that there's something connected. It's like if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck is a duck, right? I say
Mm-hmm.
that to say this. I remember when there was Housewives of Atlanta. There was all these different Housewives franchise starting to, come off of that. But you have to say it definitely started in Atlanta. Whoever started it, led it. It started in Atlanta. Atlanta was on fire, right? So what I started to notice is that the network started to change the timing of the programming for the Atlanta Housewives. So when we were looking to see it, we were not able to see it. They were pushing them back from the time slot that they had. So they were starting to lessen in their viewers. That what was happening, and they were promoting like the Bethany's and all these other, I would say, the other ones on the other side of the pond. But I noticed that and I said, this is not good. But
Mm-hmm.
what I could say is that, maybe production knew about whatever was going to happen. B, maybe
Do,
they did it.
do you feel like it
C,
was a possibility that it was a setup by production because they wanted her to
yes,
be
I
done
do.
anyway?
Yes, I do. I
But
do. And I could,
isn't there things in place to make sure that can't happen, or do y'all really feel like they have that much power to do that?
they do have that power, and I could tell you why. Because I was on a productions. I did things before. I've worked with MTV, VH1. I was in behind the scenes, and there were times that they're like, we're checking on the microphone or we're checking on this, and then we have to turn it off because we're doing this now. So you think it's off, but it's on, and you don't find that out until they already have you videotaped. They already recorded you, and guess what? Now they have footage on you. So I feel that if it was allowed to be recorded, someone was recording, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make you sign an agree before you even get on the production. Before the cameras turn on, the lights, you have to fill out this ADN. You have to fill out this paperwork. You have to sign things. It's a lot that goes with it. And if you have a manager, a contract, or an agency, that goes with it as well. So
Okay,
Kenya
so
Moore is very highly intelligent. She is highly intelligent. So was she set up? I believe she was.
So let me ask you this, since you have a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge of how this works, because to me, like a hot mic is different from like Kenya calling the production company and being like, hey, I have this idea. I really want to do this. And then them being like, okay, yeah. How big are the things going to be? Like bring them, put them in my car. And like, how could that work? Like, I don't know. I can't imagine the setup. So paint the picture for me.
Okay, so the picture is painted this way. Someone gave Kenya that information, right?
Hmm.
She
Possibly
had
production.
already, yes, it could possibly have been production, and I would say most likely. However, it could have been through the grapevine. Who knows, right? So she already has this thing set up, and they're saying, you know what? Maybe if you incorporated this that way, then you know what? On your set, for your moment and your camera time, this is going to be big. It's gonna. No, I'm serious. Like I am
Is
so
that how you
serious.
would? Is that how you would have did it?
I'm an actor,
What had
but
her
I'm not
fired
acting.
into?
I've been in movies. I've done shows, but you guys probably haven't heard. Well, I did Carlito's Way with Puff Daddy, but I digress. I don't even want to talk about that name. But I've done a lot of things. I went to school for the arts, and I know how they come on the set and how they get you. So what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is that can you believe this? Or maybe someone left something on Kenya's set about this woman
Mm-hmm.
during her taping. And she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Maybe someone sent her Instagram, a text, a message, something. And she's like, you know what? And someone, little birdie dropped in her ear, you know what? Oh my gosh, if you would have had that on in your set, do you know you're doing some big things? Wow, you could have that as a drop. Maybe she didn't think about it enough to say, you know what, maybe not. But maybe, you know what? This is going to fire start my part. But then you have to take time to step back and say, am I doing something right? Or am I doing something wrong? Or do I even want to do this at all? And who knows? Because they said, she said, this is revenge P. But come on, and that's just a fire that's lighting it. It's lighting it. But who knows? Maybe she knew, and she said, you know what? This is a way to bump her out, so now she can be in the spotlight. Because Porsha has no castle. She's stranded in Atlanta somewhere on waiting for the next person to pick her up from a tow truck or somewhere. She's out there like this, like pick me
Yeah,
up. But
I'm
yeah,
trying to.
I really
I'm trying to imagine in what scenario would it have been okay to do this.
I have a scenario.
Okay,
Remember when on Love and Hip Hop Mimi did that vivid porn tape with Nico
you
and
said Mimi. Yeah,
Erica and Mimi, uh-huh. And
yes,
Arian and Erica were
yes.
sitting on the couch looking at it and they were like, "Oh, this is professional. This is in different angles." If she
that's when I
sat up
started
at her
watching that
house
show.
with Portia on the couch, yeah. When she sat up there, if she would have sat up there in more manner with her new bestie Portia and gave Portia the phone and been like, "Girl, look what I found," and showed Portia, and then the cameras would have captured Kenya's and Portia's reactions, their faces to Brit Eady sucking dick. To me, that would have been different. But you are at your hair spa event. You printed out this shit on poster boards. You blasted it like you said went to Staples, and then humiliated this girl in front of all these people with these poster boards looking straight at the Bravo cameras. If
Okay,
for
you
you and
just
Portia's
triggered.
eyes only on your iPhone, that probably would have been okay.
But
You just made me think of
remember
some.
when they had Portia and they talked to when she was with Bolo? Remember Bolo?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she was put on blast with Bolo, and Kenya was saying she couldn't sleep because basically Portia was having a episode, a moment with
Even that
this.
was a weird storyline for me. I didn't like that for the show. I
Well,
thought
maybe it's
that,
payback time.
It was juicy. I
It
didn't
I
was
didn't
necessarily
like
juicy.
like
that.
it because it was against my girl Portia, but it was juicy.
He
Yeah,
was
so
juicy from
Aaron,
head to toe, but it was
you kind of triggered this thought that I hadn't had before. Everybody is trying to say like Kenya maybe did this to make sure that they included her salon. But what if it's the
Mm-hmm.
opposite? What if she knew that for a fact they were going to include the salon, but she wanted to make sure they would include this BS that would embarrass Edie?
yes. I totally agree. I totally agree. She wanted her salon to be
That
basically
makes
because
sense.
remember that she didn't get that scene where she wanted when she got married. They were saying she wanted to hide it, but Bravo wasn't going to pay for that. They weren't going to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
she was. I'm pretty sure she was upset about that part when she was with her child's father or whatever. That didn't go through because she would have had an episode to that getting married. Unlike Cynthia getting married in a museum, she would have had she would have had something to put out there. So I say that to say this and no shade, because I love Cynthia. She's beautiful. We have the same cheekbones. But anyway, I just feel like that was a chance for Kenya to say, you know what, I'm back and I'm gonna do worse than you thought I would do, and that Nene would do if she were to come back. And I really think they should let Nene back. I think they should just stop it and let her back because she actually, I'm sorry, I watched for her. And I love
Yeah.
them going back and forth, but they're missing the gold mine and they don't even know it.
That's a whole different
Kenya
live.
definitely did that at her hair spots, so that it would make it in. If she
Yeah,
just did a
Yeah.
little
because
side scene, maybe they would have cut it. You're right.
when you were saying that, I was like, that scene could be cut. But if she does it at something where she maybe even contractually got them to agree, we're going to show your salon, which is why the rumors probably say that. I think I saw the rumors say that they're going to end her story there. So if she got them to agree, like if I come back, you got to show my salon, then it would make sense that she would use that as an opportunity. So
Yeah, because they dropped Candy. They dropped her because it's like no one wants any more, candy coated, you know, fillers or feelings or things going on, tickling and tingling. We're done with that. We're over that. The chocolate, the drip. We heard about the restaurant. It flopped. The food was in all cute. I mean, like, hang it
wait,
up.
wait,
It's already
wait,
done.
wait,
I'm
wait.
just saying, like, it was just boring. I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, no more S toys, no more S toys. I was over it. I was like, you know what? I'm going celibate after this. I'm going Catholic. I'm going back to
Not the people
church.
in the comments agreeing
We
with
went
you.
from toys to porn.
I
Worst
know
I
time
know,
they
ever.
don't,
right?
but they probably live in Atlanta. It's okay.
Well, thank you, Magic, for coming in.
Thank you for
I
having me,
love your
guys.
energy. When I go live in the future, hopefully you come back. Are you a
I'm
long time
definitely
binge
gonna come
watcher?
back. Yeah, I will definitely come back. I watched you while you were like an emoji, and I'm like, is this real? Like tickled. I was like, somebody tickling me in my tummy. And I kept laughing. I was like, oh, is that? And I'm like, now I see your real life form. You're not an emoji. You are great. So yeah, I've been
Thank
watching you
you.
from day one. I love your platform, and I will definitely come back.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye bye. All right, I have Colin. Hi, how are you? It shows your mic is
Um,
muted.
oh, I was saying this is like so cool. I've never seen this. I don't even know how you got all this techie stuff, but I love that for you. Um,
Thank you.
so I have some things to say. So I wanted to bring up the clause thing firstly. So
Okay.
I was watching a podcast from Kimberly Foster, and she was talking about how Biden signed this Me Too clause, which basically says that there are no longer protections with like confidentiality NDA agreements for things like this that happen on productions or sets or because mostly in the entertainment industry that's when a lot of NDAs or those type of things are utilized. And
Mm-hmm.
so Bravo's in a lot of heat, as we know right now, with like the Brandy thing and just a lot of other people coming out about just like so much stuff. I feel like they're kind of like treading a very thin line with stuff like this. So then when this happened, it was kind of like, oh, yeah, we can't do this. Like we're
But they're
kind of
already in critical condition. You feel like now is the time to start to play hardball. Like I don't know.
think that they should do it now, when they've been allowing it in the past, but I think it plays a part. I do think so because I think like they're trying to protect themselves from legal liability because I mean Brittany Eady, if you look at her story, she was the one saying like this is like she was the one using all the like legal quotes and stuff in her story. So I feel like they're like, we don't, it's not worth it. Um, but I did also want to say something just about Kenya in general. I've just kind of observed her, I guess, role throughout since she started on season 5. I feel like there's certain seasons where she's kind of used almost by the network as just an initiator of things. Like season 8, oh my goodness, did not like her on season 8. Even though I love Kenya, couldn't stand her on season 8. Season 12 with the whole cookie lady thing, just so unnecessary, so over the top. Season 13 with the Porsche Bolo thing, not necessary. I think
Do you feel
sometimes they
like
use.
that's production using her, or is do you think
Mhm.
that's her desperately trying to? Okay, I shouldn't use that word, but really trying
Desperate,
to.
desperate, desperate.
I
Because
mean, is it
this
desperate
is what I
though? I
don't
mean,
love about live.
it is desperate.
Especially them early seasons, it was so desperate. You didn't have a pot to piss in. You had
See, I
white
wasn't saying
refrigerators.
she is desperate. I'm just saying she wants so badly to make the show binge worthy. Do you think that that's what is happening?
Her
I don't think
antics
it's just
are very
her.
desperate.
I think she's hired to do that. And hear me out. When she didn't show her wedding with Mark, that like caused a whole rift with the network. And when she came back on season 12, it was like she had more pressure or something to prove probably, and she was reportedly getting paid less than ever before to return and doing the most for less. It felt like if she wanted to maintain her place as a peach holder, she kind of really had to do more. And if you look at season 12 and 13, she was doing the absolute most, to the point where it was almost like hard to watch. Like, even as somebody who really loved Kenya on the show, I was just like, oh, this is just, I don't care about the bolo thing. Like, why are you so worried about what this girl is doing? And
Yeah,
also,
that was
like,
weird.
thing, like, it was just stupid. But it feels to me like she needed to do more, or was expected or had pressure to do more.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all feel like Bravo is protecting Brit Eady? Or is it one of those things like, thank you, girl, for giving us a chance to prove this point? But to me, I worry that maybe she's at risk of now being fired. Like, once you start threatening networks with legal issues, it's like they will do what they need to do. But does that not put her at risk too?
It does. I think she's done after this season. I feel like they're not going to retaliate, because then that's a legal thing. Like, you can't retaliate against somebody for. So if you're looking at the
It may
corporate,
be an issue of like, they got to do this because she pulled the legal card, and it's like, okay, we got to do the right thing, but we're done with you, girl.
yeah, she's done. I won't be surprised if she leaves after the season. They bring Kenya back.
What were you gonna say, Aaron?
Did she pull the legal card against Bravo or against Kenya?
Well, from the old contracts, from my understanding, used to say that basically you aren't allowed to sue. I don't know what the new contracts are. So if the new contracts maybe allow for them to sue each other and stuff like that, because think about whenever Kenya, Porsha jumped on Kenya. I think maybe the police was called, but Porsha go to jail?
Porsha went to jail
And then what happened? Did the
because
charges
Kenya
get
called the
dropped or
papa.
something?
I don't know. I,
I
I don't
feel
know
like there's
what was
something
the
to where
conclusion.
things disappear because they probably turned to page 56 in the contract like, you said you wouldn't do nothing about this. But I don't know if that exists anymore. But I always felt like from the very beginning when Britt made those Instagram stories about the legalities
The
of it all,
statutes.
yeah, it kind of made me like, oh, girl, you might not want to do that. Because you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, is it worth? Wait, should I say that? um, is it worth causing issues with the show? Um, or do you just like kind of let her like
But is
embarrass
she
you a little
supposed to
bit?
sit back and let this lady blow up her chompers blowing a DICK? Is she supposed
But
to
I
sit
mean, we
back
know
and
Bravo's
let
not
that
going to show
happen?
that though. We know there's no world where Bravo can show that. To me,
You
it
know
was
what
never a
though?
matter
What is
of
people
Bravo
gonna do?
showing it. It's a matter of us seeing what happened. But Bravo can never show that.
It
But
don't
Brittany's
matter. The
the
fact that she
reality
brought it there.
TV actor. So she's coming into a field of like, she's probably like, what is this? Like, everybody thinks they're ready for reality TV, or everybody wants to be on a reality show. Then they get on the show and they're shook because they can't believe that this is all happening. So I'm sure she doesn't know how to play the game yet anyway. So I'm sure there's an aspect where she probably isn't thinking about, oh, let me just sit back and do this and play it this way. She probably just is like, what did I sign up for? Like, to be honest.
Cause
Right.
what would y'all
Right.
do? Would y'all have raised hell, or would you have laughed about it and then did something crazier to Kenya?
I would have went home, cried, and then thought of a crazier scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Opened
have.
up my own business, had my own grand opening, found some dirt, and put it on some poster boards. I would have had Marlo. Brittany should have had Marlo and her two-piece band in the cut, ready to interject that hot hair spa event.
Do y'all agree with what I said about there's no scenario where Bravo would show that? Like the actual.
No, I don't
No, they're
agree.
not gonna show it, but I also kind of feel like you can't be totally 100% beholden to this network in fear that they're gonna fire or fire you or retaliate
I
against you. You
get
gotta
that,
let them
but
know,
it's
like,
early in her housewives career. Like landing a Real Housewives of Atlanta peach without having to really fight for it like they used to. To me, that's a big deal. And I feel like Bravo is all in on this new era, and I just feel like, girl, trust the process.
Yeah.
Like
Do you think
I
she cares
personally,
about it that much though? Like, do you think she cares about being a peach holder in the way like we've all grown and watched the show? What is her relationship with the show? Has she even watched in the past? Did she just come on here and get recruited? Like, I think all that context plays a part too, for sure.
That's a great question because when she had her beef with Jennifer Williams from Basketball Wives, it sounded like she kind of looked down on people who did reality TV. She was on her Instagram story calling Jennifer Williams like I think she said, I'm not like y'all reality TV hoes. Y'all are fake and y'all are corny and y'all do stuff for, social media and whatnot. So it kind of seemed like she looked down on reality TV stars. So she may not care about this show, really. And then the way her and Kelly was posted up at the St. Regis talking about we want to do the show, but then we don't.
so do you feel like
Maybe they
maybe
don't give a
Kelly?
shit.
Do you think maybe Kelly wanted to do the show and Britt just can't? I don't know. I don't.
Maybe.
I heard about the behind the scenes trials and tribulations to get this cast, so I would imagine that everybody involved really cares. Like I
I would
can't
hope
imagine
so.
she doesn't care.
I'm sure they care, but I think Kenya probably cared more. And she should have cared even more doing shit like this. I keep cursing, sorry.
That's
How
funny.
did the new girl run the OG? Like, this is what gets me about the situation. Obviously, I don't. Let me just clarify. I don't think Kenya should have did this. I think it was doing the most. Once again, just like I've said about other stuff she's done. I mean, it's just like it's not even like the show in general has taken a trajectory of just being really dark for no reason. Like a lot of what made us love the show is it's hilarious and funny and quotable and iconic, and it just starts getting into like who can do the most crazy things to each other. So don't agree with that, but I will say it is insane that Kenya has been driving the show for all these years, and this new girl who probably don't give not a dang about this show.
Might quit. Might quit too. Still might quit. It's what would be iconic if now she quits.
That would just be horrible. At this point,
That would kind of be a boss move.
Yeah,
That
like
would kind of be a
okay,
boss move. Like,
thank
bitch,
you
I don't need
for
this.
standing up for me. Now I'm done.
I just ruined y'all show. Now I'm bye.
now y'all have nobody. Good luck. Cancel.
So okay, I had a question. Damn, what was my question? I was saving
My
it.
battery
It
on
was.
30%.
Oh, is it? Um,
Yeah.
Damn, I had a really great question. And never mind. Sorry.
Is it
It was
about like
about. Damn. It was about.
Britt leaving?
It was about Brit leaving or something.
Phaedra?
Too bad. Oh, okay. So I never said this publicly, but I always felt like this was always going to be Kenya's last season. Did anybody else feel that way?
No,
I never thought about
I
it.
didn't feel like it would be her last. I felt like I didn't think that. No offense to Kenya and Portia, but I just thought that like keeping those two wasn't enough. I felt like they needed to bring in like Phaedra or they needed to bring in somebody else like in the middle, like three OGs. But I didn't think it was gonna be her last. I think they were trying to bank on her and Portia introducing the new people and trying to carry it out. That's kind of what I thought.
What it is for me, I feel like it's obvious that Bravo needs to move on, but Bravo isn't a very brave network, in my opinion. So I feel like if they had it their way, they would love to have just did what they did to New York. And I feel like there was a little bit of backlash and hesitation about it. So I feel like having Drew Sidora, Drew really isn't core Real Housewives, so she can kind of fit. Uh, but I feel like getting rid of all of those other people and like only leaving, I feel like they wanted Portia, and then I felt like they were like, I guess we'll take Kenya. When you just look at the rest of the girls, like not being funny or anything, but they went after girls who are a lot younger.
Yeah. Which is
I
why
think,
they had to bring Cynthia back, like you
yeah,
said.
Angela Oakley may be a little bit on the older side, no shade, but I feel like they want to kind of start over in a sense. And then when I was like making the graphics and trying to figure out why it all makes sense, Kenya was just out of place. I love Kenya and I of course want Kenya, but it made sense why they brought Cynthia, because if they didn't, it would be all of these younger women and then Kenya, which Kenya does. I'm not saying she looks older or anything, but I just felt like when I did my little deep dive, I was just like, I think this would be Kenya's last season. They kind of used her a little bit, but based off the girls that they chose nobody for Kenya. Like nobody new was chosen for Kenya. So
Yeah, she didn't have any like besides Cynthia, she didn't really have any alliance this season at all. It was just kind of her and these new people, and I mean, I guess Portia, but really,
and who was
And to
expecting
be honest,
Cynthia
the
back?
Portia thing wasn't gonna last because now Portia is following Brit Eady allegedly,
oh
from what I
my goodness,
heard.
Portia is hilarious. I can't even with her, but it's, I was like, I don't know when this is gonna turn. What this was the plan though, y'all sitting over here like it doesn't make sense, quote unquote, that this would be the plan. But I mean, you never know. Like, what if this was let's set it off and then let's do what we want to do.
But if they drop Kenya without replacing anybody else, is that enough?
Phaedra,
They're
Tanya,
gonna bring Phaedra
Sonia.
back. I think they're gonna bring Phaedra back as a friend of the show. Personally, I think after Traders, like that was an NBC production, and how well that did. Like I can definitely see them like just keeping that in their back pocket, possibly.
Okay, so I added Melissa to the live. If any of you guys want to leave, I'm okay if you want to leave, but if you'd like to stay, I'd love
I'm
that
on
too.
2%. Bye,
Okay,
Justin. Love you.
love you. Thanks for coming. Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. I had to catch your live. So I have like an unpopular opinion. I believe that I feel like okay, this is not really unpopular, but I do believe that Kenya is desperate. She is. And I am a team twirl. But I think the network need to be desperate too. I think everyone in the cast needs to be desperate because if they don't, I can see Bravo ending. We saw Potomac, it was whack last season. The reboot was boring because I don't think they picked the quality of lifestyle as viewers we want to see. Like personally, I want to see a real housewife who don't have nothing but she rich and her man take care of everything. That's what I want to see. No one
Hold
we
on one
have
second. Let me introduce this other person that I added. Hi, what's your name? It shows that you're muted. Oh, all right.
No.
Hi,
Hi,
what's your name?
Panama.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining. Go ahead, Melissa.
yes. I was just saying no one really has a man, no one really got a family. That's not why we signed up for the Real Housewife. That's why you see the other franchise doing better than they flagship franchise because the quality has decreased. So if they don't have a husband, they don't got a family, at least they can have some drama. And now she's getting in trouble for that, which I understand. It is a bad thing. I get it. But
Hmm.
she knows that they're on a last leg. So this is an act of desperation. I think everybody need to clock in and go to work. So
But so are you one of those people who felt like this would have been a good move, or do you feel like this was, and you don't got to say that you don't like it because she got fired over it, but do you feel like you would have wanted to see that on the show?
so I personally I don't agree with what she did because it's a character flaw. Let's just call a spade a spade. Doing something like that is a character flaw. However, that's who she is. Let's show it because we can't just keep putting the button on who people are. That's we know who Kenya is. We know she messy. She been messy. Show it, but I don't think that she should have been allowed. The girl Brit should have been allowed to sue her. You know where you are. You are in the hood, girl. You seen the past seasons. You know how it is. Like
Not the hood.
in the hood. These are hoodlums on the, lately. The last couple seasons has been the ghetto. So you know where you
Yeah.
signed up for.
Yeah,
So
Raven in the chat, she agreed with you. She says, I want to see the fabulosity and the grandeur. And I agree. Like, I feel like if they really want to gag us, hire girls who will be doing crazy private jets, over the top, five houses, and we will sit back and we will be like, I don't
Exactly.
know
I
why
want
they won't do that.
to
Even if they have to pretend, like I would even be on board with them pretending and renting these girls jets and cars and houses. I think that we got to reset and get back to like that fab type lifestyle for sure.
yes,
How do you?
something that I've been too inspired to. I'm not inspired. I didn't seen it's been done. Potomac was doing it a little bit, but they don't know what they're doing. But like I said, so that's
Potomac, they've always struggled with the upper echelon to me.
they did, and I'm just like, not impressed. So I don't
So,
want King gone.
so Panama, how do you feel about what Kenya did? Do you feel like that's binge worthy for the show, or do you feel like that's not like we wasn't asking for that?
Um, I don't think we was really asking for that, but I will say, she probably came up with the idea, and the producers probably thought it was great. I do know that I do think that the production had a lot to do with it. They do these things on on the show. Before you even get on a scene, they feed you with line, or they tell you what the situation is, or they tell you what you need to talk about. So you go into that salon, they already know that she's gonna pull out this thing. You got posters. You're setting up the show. You're setting up cameras. You're setting up lighting. You decorating. You don't see these posters, and then let's talk about y'all going into Bolo. But how about we had ridiculous on there swinging and sucking his own.
That was
Did
a
we
different
forget about
time.
that?
That was a different time. So you're saying that Candy started the whole process of declassing the show? Is that what you're saying on the record?
Yeah, she gave a little tweak to it.
All right.
But yeah, I think at first I thought it was a stunt for to bring up the season because everybody said it was so boring last season. And then I was just like, as it kept going and the snowball got bigger, I was just like, okay. But she did mention in an interview with Carlos King that, you know, she didn't know shit whether she's gonna come back on the 16th season. She said this would probably be it for her if
Who
her
Kenya
and
did?
yeah.
Hmm.
In that one on one with Carlos King in that
Oh yeah.
interview. Yeah. She said she'll have to talk with the producers at Bravo about returning. So I mean, she was on her way out.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I really do feel like this was always gonna be her last season. I hate that she didn't make it to the end.
Yeah.
Bravo has this way of like not wanting people to go on peacefully, it seems.
I feel like Bravo is so disconnected with what the audience want to see. Like they always give the wrong camera time to the wrong people, kick
Yeah.
out the wrong people. Like they're just so disconnected. And this is why I really, really wish they did not fire Kenya, regardless of how dirty it was, because it was dirty, it was shiesty. But it's gonna be real shiesty when Bravo is not Bravo no more. So
I mean, they haven't been
Yeah.
Bravo in anymore for a while.
No, they've been to the below deck channel actually.
All right, so I added a couple more people in. Tell us your name. And okay,
I'm
conversation.
Charles. How is everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I
And
just wanted to chime in on the conversation. I just really think that Bravo went overboard with this and with firing Kenya because, like, you got all these new faces coming on this season, and um, we all know they're not going to be able to carry this season.
all right, hold on one
They
second. I
were
have one more
barely go.
person to introduce.
Okay.
Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. All right, thanks for joining the conversation. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, they were already kind of like struggling with just with people chiming in on this season with Kenya and Porsha really carrying it, and um I just don't really see it for season 16. I really don't. With all these newbies, and it's like you gotta Brittany, all this stuff, this this stuff that she does. This was already generated out in public, so it's not like it was something new. You know what I'm saying? So she could have just got over that, and Bravo could have just edited it out. And but right now, if you look at it with Portia, Drew, and Cynthia carrying the season, we already up for an epic fail. That's just how I see it. It's an epic fail, and um, you gotta go when you look back on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Their most iconic seasons, a lot of those storylines was carried by Nene and Kenya and Portia. You know, and so those are your heavyweights.
Okay,
And
let
then
me ask
you.
you this because you mentioned that you
Mhm.
don't see it for the Real Housewives of season 16. When's the last time you watched? Like, when's the last time you were happy with the show?
The cast that I was happy with, when it was Kenya, Portia, Nene, Eva, Tanya, um, uh, Marlo as a friend, um, and I think that was the thing. Maybe Shamari was on there, I believe,
Okay.
but I think those were like they had a workable that was a workable cast because you could it was somebody on there that you was gonna like. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, just I think when they had the Bailey Q when they did the all red, I think that was a perfect ensemble there. So a
Okay.
lot of this stuff, the failures of Real Housewives is that you got to go back to production. Whoever is doing the casting, the hiring and the firing, this is the person that needs to be held accountable. Because when you got something good, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. The ratings were up. All those seasons, the ratings were up. Now we're looking at below deck,
Okay. All
and
right.
it's like, why? You know.
Yeah.
So you gotta blame production on that.
Well, I hate to hear that you're going to skip season 16. Maybe they'll get it right season 17. Thanks for calling in. I'm going to go ahead and take the next call. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, bye. All right.
Whoa.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for being on camera. I
Yes.
appreciate it. So, what do you
Hey,
want
I
to talk
first
about?
want to just say you are amazing. I've been following you from the beginning when you were an emoji, and I was always like, who is behind the emoji? But the content that you've delivered, I mean, has been always the first content page that I go to. And so I
Thank
just want to
you.
give you your flowers and say, keep up the great work and inspiring us all.
I
Um,
appreciate it. Thank you.
I am a RHOA fan since the beginning, and so when season 16 was kind of in the talks, I was very nervous because we just did not deliver last season. I don't care what nobody says, we didn't deliver. It was like, what are we doing here? Like, come on, we need to shake it up. And when I seen some of the new girls, I was like, okay, I think we have a shake up here. I love Kelly.
And
I
I,
think
I
she is
love
going
every
to
second
be.
of it.
Yes, I think that we're gonna have a really good shake-up season 16. I think they're gonna give us the Sweet 16 that we really, really wanted. Are there some heavy hitters that are missing? I heard you mention earlier. Absolutely, that was going to really be the breaker of the show. I was kind of pushing like, hey, New York, reboot it. Let's start over. Fresh new
Yeah,
girls,
y'all know I was
young and
definitely wanting the
fresh.
reboot. Yeah, I was wanting the
Yes,
full
young
reboot
and
too.
fresh. I mean, but they gave us half of that. And then you have Kenya Moore mixed in with these girls, and you were like, where is she gonna be? She doesn't hold that sisterhood title like a Nene Leakes that'll bring the
Hmm.
girls together and do the camaraderie of that. Like, she doesn't give me that OG that can do that. So what is she gonna do? And it was just like, so when I heard the news today that Kenya Moore is like saying farewell, the curtain is closed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So wait, are you like a Kenya hater or are you just not a fan?
So I'm not a Kenya hater, even though she has me blocked on Instagram, and I don't know why, but maybe some of my comments just wasn't in her favor. But
Hmm.
I just felt like you can read the girls down, you can give us beautiful looks, but as far as us really getting to know Kenya on Housewives of Atlanta, I don't feel we've really gotten to know her like everyone else has put their lives out there. Like we've got bitten pieces, and yeah, we've seen the relationships because honestly, that's what's going to keep you on the show. You get a hot relationship and it's going through
Hmm.
drama. Yeah, but why was Kandi so successful? Why was Nene so successful? Why were these OGs, Sheree, so successful? Because we got them, their family, their personal lives, the real, this divorce with Mark Daly. I mean, can we get an end to it? I mean, I'm just wondering, where is the end? So I'm not a Kenya hater, but I'm more so kind of like, I think Kenya has served her time. She can do so much more. Like she was more before a housewife, so now she can go out and take these team twirls and go out and get stadiums and do bigger things. But you just haven't been delivering these past 2 years, in my opinion. And you've just seemed like you're tired and you know the bag that it's going to get. And we're just now getting the grand opening of the salon. I'm like, I thought that thing was done like years
Well,
ago.
the thing is, I love Kenya. We're both Aquarius, so I
Okay.
can understand her a little bit more than I guess some of y'all. But
My
um,
best friend is Aquarius, so I love you guys.
yeah, my thing with the whole salon thing is I feel like the difference between like a Candy and a Kenya is Candy does her businesses whether or not they make the show, and because of that, it almost guarantees that the show will like put her businesses on the show. And I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of the
by
housewives
default.
haven't really figured that out. Like they
Right.
do these cash grabs, not saying Kenya did a cash grab, but I feel like they do cash grabs, and rightfully so, because I would imagine that the producers push them to come up with some
Yeah.
sort of a business, and I feel like it kind of makes their time on the show worthwhile. So it's not a
Yeah.
bad thing, but I feel like that's
Yeah.
the big difference between Candy and Kenya. So Kenya tried to do a soft launch for her salon, but I guess because she didn't get that boost that she felt she needed, I feel like she kind of put it on the back burner and pouted a little bit and like
Yeah.
raised hell a little bit to
Yeah,
get them to get
absolutely.
what she wanted. But I think that Kenya Salon probably would have done better if she had just actually really opened it and done well, and then the show could have done something else. Like we don't really care
Yeah.
about a grand
Yeah.
opening that much as a viewer,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I feel like that's what happened, and that's why.
I agree. I agree. And it's just like, what are we gonna do? But I do believe that they should have bought a Kim Zolciak back maybe this year, and I still
Oh,
kind
see,
of feel
now you
like
lost me. Now you lost
maybe.
me.
But wait, why? I felt like if you weren't gonna have any other heavy hitter, why not Kim? She had a lot going on this year that the
She
cameras
does,
would have loved to eat up,
but I
especially
feel like
Bravo.
Kim, I feel like she had this "I'm better than y'all" mentality when she was getting the network to kiss her ass and to give her these things. So my thing
True.
is keep that same energy, sis. Like keep that
Yeah.
same
Well.
energy.
Yeah.
You're so much better than these girls. Then you should be pitching another show to Bravo, or you should be going to another city. Like I would be so on board for Kim going to like the OC or Beverly Hills, and let's see how that
Mm.
works for her.
Yeah, I
Since she's
agree.
so
That
much
would be
better
a
than
good
our
shakeup.
girls.
Yeah, yeah. Since she's got that coin and that money and everything. But to see that she had that attitude and then now the demise of all that, the ending of all of that, I mean, it kind of would have been like a closure for us. And,
Cause I
sadly
wanted
say,
when she came back the last time, even after she had that energy, I was on board for that. But the way that she did those girls, I was just like, never again for me. Like, I won't not
yeah,
watch the show if she comes back, but I feel like it would be the biggest slap in the face for our girls for them to be able to even say that she saved the show. So
okay, okay. I get where you're coming from.
it
I
ain't
get where
worth
you're
it.
coming from. Well, hopefully Phaedra will save the show. Now, I am Team
Now,
Nene and Phaedra all day.
This would be the
I
perfect
really
time to
am.
bring Phaedra back. And
This would be the perfect time.
mid-season.
NBC and Bravo is eating her alive. She was amazing on
I thought you was
Traitors,
gonna say
okay?
something else.
Well, I just wanted to keep it. We don't need another legal lawsuit over there
Right,
at Bravo
right.
Network. But, I think we just need a moment where come on, bring her back. She's not
'Cause
working on Married to Medicine. No shade to the girls over there.
Well, she
They
can
are
do
an
them
ensemble
both. She
cast.
can do them both. We're not even asking for them to take her off Married to Medicine. Let her do them both. Oh wait, she literally. That's literally her saying.
Well, yeah, I mean that's iconic though. Who has done that kind of crossover? I mean, let's do it.
Do 'em
I'm here
both.
for it. I'm here for it. Phaedra, we want you back.
Well, thanks
I
for calling in.
appreciate this.
I have a couple
Yes.
more calls to take, and then that's it.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'll see you in the chat.
Yes, I'm still gonna stick around.
All right. Thank you. Hello, Alaka. Oh wait, did I add her?
Hang on, have I unmuted?
Oh, hello.
Hiya! Oh my gosh, the fact that I'm having to use my phone for this.
Thank you for being on camera. I appreciate that.
I know, early in the morning as well. Yeah. This is actually a very interesting discussion because it's kind of brought about what has happened to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I feel like it has reached the end of the road as far as I'm concerned, to be honest. And I've been saying this for a while, okay? I have been saying this for a while. Real Housewives of Atlanta has literally reached the end of the road. And I think I said this earlier in the chat, the problem that Real Houses of Atlanta has had is because there's been a constant revolving door of women coming in and out of the show. And I feel like that has ruined the dynamic. That has taken away the natural chemistry that the women have, because as we all know how it works is whenever someone is introduced, they're technically not really a friend, they are a friend. You know what I mean? And so as a result, the chemistry is never natural. The alliance that is supposed to be a natural alliance because you're going to be loyal to your friend naturally is never a natural thing. So it's easy for people to actually turn their backs against each other if production is in their ear. Remember, they all have their own producers, right? And those producers are also trying to keep their jobs. Let's bear that in mind, because the producer for each housewife is also just as keen to keep their job as much as the housewife is keeping their job. So it's the producer's job to make sure that their housewife gets as much airtime as possible so that they can get a pitch for the next season, correct? And so as a result, I feel like sometimes the producers do play dirty and they advise their talent really badly in order to come against somebody or to play dirty tricks, like the situation of Kenya right now, what happened with Phaedra before. And then, you end up getting what you have today, because there's no real alliance, there's no real loyalty, there's no real friendships, there's no real chemistry amongst the people,
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate because I was excited for this reset, and I thought that the foolishness from Bravo was kind of coming to an end in terms of like them firing her mid-season. And I would love to know what that looks like, because honestly, I said that I wasn't going to make a video about it, but I'll tell you guys what would have made me make a video. If Bravo had released a statement, I was waiting for them to release a statement about their stance on this situation, because they know that there was rumblings, and we heard about, I feel like the worst thing that they can do is just let the rumblings happen in a negative way. Like, good rumblings are great, but rumblings that further make people question the success of the next season need to be killed immediately.
Exactly.
So I was waiting for a statement. So I wasn't expecting this, though, because does this happen? Do people get fired mid-season while they have a contract?
I mean, people get fired from their jobs every time if they've done, if there's, listen, if there's been what they consider to be gross misconduct, you can get fired on the spot, right? And I feel like, and I think this is what echoing what everybody else has been saying, because of all the lawsuits that Bravo has been facing and NBC Universal, I feel like they are trying to save face and avoid an additional lawsuit, on top of everything else as it is. And I think when it comes to Kenya, I do believe she was on her last legs. I was actually surprised that she was coming back again. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised she's been back for the last few seasons, because the way I saw it, I'm like, okay, I get like, because in my head, I was kind of trying to calculate. I'm like, hang on, for Housewives to continue successfully, it's all about family. They've kind of taken away that family unit. Let's start with that. If you remember season 1, and I think the first few seasons, in the intros, they used to have the woman, and then they would have, sorry, you have to excuse my smoke alarm. There was the woman, and they also had their family, right? They would showcase the husband and the children, and etc., that sort of thing. And a lot of them, their children grew up, right? And then we've got this new generation, like you have Kandi, obviously she's got the new kids and stuff like that. So Porsha had the kid, Kenya had the kid. So that would have worked, including Drew Sidora and them law. So that would have actually worked. But I feel like the original formula was already ruined. You see what I mean? From before, because of the whole revolving doors. And I feel like had they actually brought in maybe Kenya's real friends who've got children, right? Kandi's real friends who've got children, Portia's real friends, who've got children, Nene, obviously, because her children are grown, I was okay with Nene not being part of the show, simply because I felt like she just needed to be in a different space, because it just wasn't working there anymore. You know what I mean? No matter what was done, it just wasn't working there anymore. And so I kind of feel like even Cynthia, she didn't need to be there anymore. Her child has grown. Do you see what I mean? And I feel like the family unit that it originally had would have been the formula that would have worked, because it gave them something other than just them bickering, other than just them meeting up for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and being forced by producers to confront each other about stuff that they don't really need to confront each other about, because most of the time it's exaggerated or it's an absolute lie, right? They would actually have their families to focus on and talk about their families. Oh, I'm going through this with my child. I'm going through this with my husband, and they come together in that sisterhood that we once used to enjoy way back when.
So you care more about the family storyline than them doing fab type stuff?
Yes, because the drama is always going to be there. The drama is always going to be there, family or not. The drama is always going to be there.
But like going on like fabulous trips and like showing us their new mansions, driving their Rolls Royces, having like sophisticated parties. To me, I value that more than
very much for that. I'm very much for that, because if you remember, I don't know if it was Andy or somebody else who said that the reason why how the concept of housewives came about was because of things like Desperate Housewives, right? Where there's suburban women who are not working, and those women had children. So I feel like that's part and parcel of the whole thing, where they get to host, galas or galas, as you guys call it. They get to host charity events, you know what I mean? They get to go on these expensive trips, you know what I mean? Which is, the upper side of society. And that is all part and parcel of it, where they get to have someone watch the kids, you know what I mean, for a few days and things like that, whilst they go on holiday and enjoy themselves. They enjoy their mummy time, that sort of thing. And I feel like that's kind of been stripped away, because now, even when they do go to trips, it's about, oh, I'm going to confront so-and-so about something. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a headache. It's exhausting to watch at this point, So I don't know. For me, I just kind of feel like they should just close the doors.
No.
It's an unpopular opinion, but they should just close the doors of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and just give it a rest. Like, what are they going to do now? What are they honestly going to do now?
Right. I feel like the new era, in a sense, I'm hopeful about it. Like, I want them to do well. Let me add one more person. Hi, Alyssa. How are you?
Hiya.
Hello. Hi.
Maybe she's on mute.
Hello?
Can you hear? Oh, sorry. I was trying to add her to the stream. Have one more. Hi, Andrea.
Hey, I'm back. I just had to say this one just before anything else. What I do like about like the reality TV space is that when y'all do y'all reviews, I don't even watch a lot of the shows. Well, I watch a lot of the housewife shows. But when you guys do your reviews, it really gives us an insight of what's going on. I promise you, you know what reality show I'm looking forward to that I want to happen? I want like Empire, a Bingeworthy, uh Scotty by Nature, giving you the real tea. I want that because that right there would really give me like life because y'all reviews keep us watching whether we like throughout the time of the season. We might not be fully tuned in, but you guys do such a great job. Like even right now, Benjworthy, you started like to really like we see who you are. The emoji, I loved it. I loved it. But to see who you are and see that you are still that same person. Scotty by nature is that type of guy. Giving you the real tea is that House of Aaron, who was just on here. A lot of people was like, who's that? I'm like, that's House of Aaron. Y'all don't know who House of Aaron is? Bondi Blue. Jamie, that's me. And I can go on and on. But when it comes down to that, that's the camaraderie that y'all have as, and I'm going to say it, Black content creators is amazing. You guys do an amazing job. You keep us engaged. You keep us with the tea. You keep us with everything that's going on, even if it's behind the scenes. When people say, "Oh, well, they're spilling too much and they're leaking," we like the leaks, but show us the leaks in the season. But you guys keep us up on our game. And I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but I had to come and just shout out the people that really are doing the work to make sure that we are seeing what's happening. And you guys are amazing.
Thank you
And
so
I could
much.
just speak for me. I love y'all. Like, shots out. Like I said, Scotty, T, I want to see y'all do like a full panel with y'all. Oh my God. I know it'll be funny. It'll be hilarious. And if we can get like that for a season of 12, 17 episodes, that's better than the show says a lot of the times now because reality TV is not what it used to be. It's not
Yeah.
reality. What y'all give us is reality. The reality of like the perspective from all of us. So y'all give us a voice. So I love you and I took up enough time, but thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much, and thank you for showing love to all of us. A lot of the people you mentioned are, people that I respect. So, thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. Much
All right.
love.
Bye. Okay, so I'm about to end the live. Is there anything else y'all want me to talk about or to cover? Alaka, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Um, Honestly, for me, I think I can just say that it is sad though that Houses of Atlanta has come to this, where people are having to basically succumb to dirty tactics. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fan of Kenya. However, at the same time, I will always give credit where credit is due because I always have like a producer's mindset. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like, yes, Kenya was good for the show, but what I don't understand is why she would have been okay with going this far, knowing very well, I think this is seasons ago, she mentioned that Houses of Atlanta was her legacy. She wanted her daughter to be able to watch her back and say, this is the legacy that mom has built. You know what I mean? And so how would you, like, I don't understand how you would want your legacy, something that you want your daughter to look up to you for, to end in this
Mm-hmm.
manner. It makes no sense. It doesn't compute for me that she would even be in agreement with something like that. Like I feel like maybe she should have just mentioned it. You know what I mean? If you want to dig up dirt on somebody, at least mention it and don't do it by ruining your own business. So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
sad. For me, it's just sad that it's come to this.
when that first came out, y'all know I like pay attention to the tweets, the streets, and everything in between. And there were so many of her diehard fans windmilling for her, saying like, "Oh, Kenya would never do that." And to me, that is the saddest part, because I think about how disappointed and embarrassed really Team
Yeah.
Twirl is, and I really feel bad for Kenya also, because I know how bad she really wants this salon to do well. And, sometimes self sabotage gets the best of us. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. And I think about how she let so many of her fans down, which I feel like that's probably going to be the hardest thing for her to deal with.
How do you feel as a Team Twirl?
I I don't want to like crucify her or anything like that, but I never asked for that. Like there's never a situation where I would like that type of behavior on the show. I don't
Hmm.
look forward to when they go below the belt in that way. I don't look forward
Hmm.
to like that bolo drama, like any of that weird like crossing the line type of energy.
Yeah.
I always hate that. That's one of the things I loved about the new Real Housewives of New York reboot. Those girls had drama, but it was about like you didn't like my cheese plate. Like that's what I want to see. I don't want to see drama
Right.
that really can ruin somebody's life. Like fight over
Keep it
charcuterie
copacetic.
boards.
Right, right, right.
Fight over
And
somebody not coming to your event. Like stuff like that to me is entertaining.
and that's the kind of drama that I would like to see, where it's lighthearted. It's not something that somebody would have to hold a grudge for you and start conspiring against you behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe that was part and parcel of the problem with Houses of Atlanta, where there was a lot of behind the scenes backbiting. And I don't know if it was because of maybe the giant that Housewives of Atlanta became, where everybody, like literally the entire world, right? I'm not in the United States. I got to find out about the Housewives of Atlanta. Do you know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
it became such a huge, huge thing, to the point where I feel like, because, sometimes we kind of have to step back, right? And look
Zoom
in
out.
as much as I would love to blame the women, to say, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. I also truly believe that NBC Universal and the people who are not of our skin color, we're not happy that a black show, okay, and let's bear in mind, before even Married to Medicine came along, Potomac came along, they were the only black ensemble housewives on Bravo, was the highest rated, even higher than the Kardashians, even if the Kardashians were getting more money, right?
Hmm.
And so they knew it was going to come a time when these women were going to be in a position where they will be in positions of power enough to get good enough lawyers to negotiate much bigger contracts with much bigger pay. And we all know, okay, these big conglomerates, they do not want to see a black person succeed to that level. Because I honestly, truly believe every single talent that was on Housewives of Atlanta, especially the original cast, plus Porsha and Kenya, would have all been A-listers, like proper bona fide A-listers by now, had not the bosses at the very top not tried to stifle them. And I feel like they did a lot of things behind the scenes by minimizing certain things about them. And I think there's a lady earlier on who said they even changed the time, right? On when it was airing. So there was a lot of sabotage that's not obvious. You know what I mean? It's not blatant to the naked eye. But like, I feel like if you really delve into it and you really, really dissect it, you will find that there was a lot, to the point where they made the women feel like they had to now start fighting like crabs in a barrel. And when that starts to happen, right, it's like a stampede. Whoever's head gets stepped on, it gets stepped on, so long as I can come out for air, so I can get mine. You see what I mean? Had they actually said, you know what, we're going to treat you like the stars that you are because you are actually bringing us money, etc., that sort of thing, it would have been a whole different situation. The ladies would have not felt the need to keep wanting to fight one another and wanting to up one another in that way. There would have been some competition, but I don't think it would have been as vile as it ended up being. That's kind of like my perspective on that side of things, to be honest. I can only blame the ladies for so much, but I actually also blame NBC Universal and Bravo.
All right, thank you. There was a lot of amens in the chat. Thank you so much for coming on. What time is it over in London?
Thank you, Justin. Huh?
What time is it over there in London?
It's now 5:39 a.m. I haven't slept yet. There's something wrong with me.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you staying up and coming on. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure chatting to you, Justin. I'll speak to you later.
Bye. All right, guys. I survived my first live in like 3 to 4 years. Let me read some of y'all comments before I get out of here. Thank you guys for showing the love. So my intention is to do more lives. As y'all can imagine, it takes so much time to make the videos that I make on a regular basis. So I'm not one of those creators who get to like do a lot of videos and yeah, it takes a lot of time. It literally takes all day, sometimes multiple days to do these videos. So I've been behind the scenes trying to set it up to go live. And yeah, so tonight wasn't really planned, but I'm glad that it happened because I probably would have been in my head trying to figure out the perfect scenario to go live. And I kind of had no choice but to go live tonight. So that's how we ended up here today. But I definitely do want to do more lives. And because I feel like it's very important to be able to talk to you guys. That's what I look forward to the most. I need to keep my ear to the streets in every way possible. And I really do value what you guys have to say and how you guys feel about the show. So that's really important. And it'll get a lot easier for me and it'll be a lot more fun, I'm sure. Okay, so the comments say Kenya's legacy will live on. I agree. Like, I don't know what's going on. I just hope that it doesn't get messy. Like, Kenya, girl, if you're watching this, please don't take the Nene route. Girl, sit a season out, sit 2 seasons out. Pay attention to what Phaedra did. Phaedra, she did not lawyer up. She did not do the most. And look, now Bravo can't get enough of her. So, I mean, if they did any wrong to you, of course, I don't want you to just stand by and be done wrong, but please check the ego because what you did, even your fans do not love. So, yeah, that's my hope for Kenya. I hope that she does not ruin her relationship with the network because I hate what happened with Nene. And to me, it ain't that deep. It's just not. Okay. Thank you guys for the great feedback. Someone said either bring on Phaedra or Mariah, preferably Mariah. I think Mariah needs to focus on going back to Married to Medicine. I don't know if it makes sense for her. Because she's also kind of on the Nene side. So, like, I don't see Bravo bringing her back to another show. If they fix their relationship with her, I would imagine they just bring her back to the show where she's actually doing well. Thank you guys for the comments on the quality. Thank you for all the love. I'm down to go for drinks, December. My voice is calming when I'm not upset. And, oh yeah, and thank you for everybody who came on camera. In the future, eventually I'm gonna get to the point where in order to come on camera, to come on the show, you gotta be on camera because I care so much about the quality of my videos and I work really, really hard. And if I can come on camera, everybody can come on camera because y'all know I have been doing this for years and I did not want to come on camera. And I finally came around. So if I can do it, everybody can do it. All right. Thanks again, guys, for watching this video. I will see you guys on the next one.
Yeah. should I pretend and then claim that I'm insane? You know I'm cocky, remain to be the same. Ballerific, I'm all terrific. Wanna know what I'ma do? I'll be more specific. Like let's have a face off. I rip your face off. Treat it like my rhyme book when I rip the page off. I got a swagger that's ahead of my time, and you got a swagger that is dead and behind. Where I'm beginning, you are slacking, and where I am winning, you are lacking. I do it to perfection, relax.